Contracts are important in a business agreement because they talk about the documents that are going to be used as the agreement continues. They also mention the duties or summarize the duties and obligations of the parties. Usually for a contract to be valid, one party makes an offer and the other party accepts the offer. Both parties provide consideration. Consideration refers to the price paid, for the promise made by the other party. For example, if you buy a car, then you lose money, the car guy loses the car. The assumption is that both parties intend for the legal consequences to follow. Otherwise, it won't be a contract. And finally, the parties must have contractual capacity. In this video, our main focus is going to be on offers, specifically what is an offer and what is not an offer. So an offer is an expression of willingness to get into a contract on definite terms if those terms are accepted. So the party that makes the offer is referred to as the offerer, and the other party who's going to accept the offer or who is intended to accept the offer is referred to as the offeree. What is important here is for you to understand that it's not often the case, It's not always the case that we have offers and then they're accepted. Because before you get into a contract, you always have that phase where we negotiate. So during the negotiation, things could be said, Invitations to treat are going to be made. And these things are not necessarily going to lead into acceptance. For instance, you could ask for information, request for information. You could send out a request for proposal. All these things are simply intended to make the other party make us an offer, and then we can accept that offer. So it is important to understand in a contract which part of that contract are we on, Have offers been made, or are we still at the contractual stage where we are just doing negotiation? From the beginning, an offer must be distinguished from an invitation to an offer and a declaration of intent. So you have to understand that, again, as I pointed out, that an invitation to make an offer, is not in itself an offer. The fact that you walk around and you see a seller has on their window or the window of their shop something saying offers, discounts, whatever, all that stuff, those are not offers, The seller is simply saying that, or rather printing that so that you can walk into the shop and make them an offer. So that is actually an invitation to treat. They're just inviting you into their shop and then you go ahead and make them an offer. A declaration by a person that intends to do something gives no right of action to another who suffers loss because the former does not carry out his intention. This is important. In fact, let's look at this case. Let's say let's say a seller of some sort, puts out an advertisement stating that there's going to be a grand sale of something, shoes or whatever it is, cars. And the sale is supposed to take place on a given weekend. And then you intend to buy whatever it is that they're selling. So you travel to that place, and when you get there, you realize that the sale has been cancelled, The seller isn't there. So in this case, can you sue the person for wasting your time? Can you sue the person for the expenses that you incurred on your way to that place? The answer is you can try, but you won't succeed because there was no offer at that stage. Such a declaration only means that an offer is to be made or invited in future, and not that an offer is made now. So exactly how is it that we make offers? Let's talk about that. An offer may be expressed or implied from the conduct. Examples of expressed offers will include a situation where, let's say, John decides that they're going to sell their laptop to Jen, So John offers to sell their laptop to Jen for X amount of money, and Jen agrees to buy that laptop or accepts the offer for that particular amount. So that is an example of an express offer. Another example could be something like Jen advertises in a newspaper offering a £500 reward to anyone who returns her pet cat. Mike brings the cat to Jen. Now, those are examples of an expressed offer. Again, as we said, an offer can also be implied, although in most cases, offers tend to be expressed. But an example of an implied offer, if we have a bus or a train that goes to a particular destination, and it shows up at the train station or at the bus station, wherever it is, and you walk in. So at this point, you're accepting their offer that they're going to take you to that one particular destination. Of course, this can change if there are numerous destinations in between, because in that case, you will be, making an offer in this case because you're deciding on where you want to stop. And then they're accepting to drop you or to sort of take you to that destination. But Imagine if it's only one destination, it only goes to one place. So in that case, it is you who is accepting their implied offer that they will take you to that particular place. An offer can be made to a particular person or to some particular class of persons or to the world at large. All offers must be communicated to the offeree before they can be accepted. So this is very important because when you talk about offers taking effect, you can't talk about accepting an offer when you're not aware of that offer. So it has to be communicated. In fact, the offeree cannot accept an offer unless he knows of its existence, because he cannot accept it without intending to do so. And he cannot intend to accept an offer of which he is ignorant. So let's go back to the above example, okay, the one that we talked about, the Jane cat scenario, okay? Now, let's assume that Jen puts out that advertisement talking about anybody who finds a pet cat will be rewarded. And then Mike finds the cat and returns it. Only that in this case, Mike is not aware of the reward that Jen had put out. Okay, Mike hadn't even seen any of those adverts. So in this case, you realize that Mike is not entitled to get the reward because he can't say that he accepted that offer, which he had no idea existed. So in this case, Mike's action, bringing back the cat, will just qualify as him being a good neighbor or a good person. Basically, it's charity. Examples of what isn't an offer. So there are a number of things that look like if they're offers, but in reality, they're not. For instance, displaying of goods on a shelf or even a window for the public to see. If you do that, we've already talked about that. If you do that, what you're actually doing is that you're just inviting the public to your shop. So you're not really making them an offer, you're inviting them. So they come to your shop and then they make you an offer. They say, I would like to buy those things, or I'd like to. They pick the goods from the shelf, bring them to your counter, if you're the cashier, and then you inspect the goods and you accept to sell them the goods, or rather, you accept their offer to buy the goods. So in that case, it's what happens when you go to a supermarket. You are the one who's making the supermarket the offer. You're offering to buy the goods that are there. So them putting those goods on a shelf with price tag attached to them, that doesn't qualify as an offer. The second thing that isn't an offer is advertisement. Advertisements are considered as an invitation to treat due to their multi-acceptance principle. Here's how that works. If an advertisement was to be treated as an offer, then in theory, an unlimited number of people would be able to accept it at any one time. And that could result into legal problems if the advertiser runs out of stock. Of course, this changes depending on the context, okay? Like if you recall the Jane's cat scenario, that advertisement actually qualifies as an offer. So this is what I'm saying. If you put out an advert, okay, that will result into a unilateral contract, that is a sort of advert that you're the only one who's bound, or a sort of advert that can be accepted by somebody simply doing something and not necessarily communicating to you, that is actually going to be an offer. Now, the other thing that isn't an offer are tenders. Tenders are considered an invitation to treat since they involve a party having requirements for a specific product or services and advertises that need. It is the response to meet those needs that is considered an offer. And if you understand how tenders work, you understand that. Okay, let's say you need some laptops and you put out an expression of interest. So the expression of interest is not really an offer. You're simply saying that anybody who thinks that they can supply these things, okay, should contact me and tell me how much it would cost me or how much they would want in return for those things. And so when the person contacts you and talks about, or rather writes how much they are going to charge you, they are actually making you an offer that you are offering to supply you these things for this much. So at that point, their action is an offer. Your action is actually to accept that offer or not. Now, the other thing that isn't an offer is auction. So with auctions, the key thing to look at is whether there is a reserve or there isn't one. Here's what I mean. In auctions with a reserve, the idea is to set a minimum or maximum price set. And offers are only the bids that meet the said criteria. So if you set a minimum, asking price or the minimum bidding price or something, then the person who meets that criteria, that qualifies as an offer. If you set a maximum, the person who meets that criteria, that's going to be an offer. The rest of the people, those aren't offers. In auctions with no reserve, the bids that are considered as offers are those of the highest bidder. So in conclusion, this is what I want you to remember, okay? Without a valid offer, a contract can't exist because the other elements won't even be there. Because a contract will always start with an offer. So to qualify as an offer, there needs to be an expression of willingness to enter into a contract on specific terms, and number 2, intention for the contract to be binding once it is accepted. So if you have any question, do let me know. I'm Moses from Zerite Network, and I'll see you in the next video.